What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got the Lord of Ice today, Frost, with a near zombie-like build. This will be going over really high-level missions and enemies with the Frost Prime Warframe and just destroying them really fast. Additionally, giving yourself some overguard and, just a bunch of good utility stuff. So let's get right into this extremely powerful build. Before we do, though, make sure you're subbed to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. Everything from build videos, discussion videos, news videos, and the like. You're in the right place for Warframe content. Also, come stop by the live stream. We'll be live streaming tonight with some more Warframe, hopefully doing some more endurance runs. I'm thinking Sevagoth and Protea for the next level 10,000 build videos. Although I've already got the Ivara one ready to go. Alright, let's get right into what we're using here. And reminder, the stuff we're using today is getting buffed in the Jade Shadows update to be even more powerful. And also, before we get into it, I do currently have an Invigoration active. I can't turn it off, unfortunately. It goes away in like one day. But I have used this build a lot for level 10,000s without Invigoration. So I just can't turn it off, unfortunately. So this footage will be with the Invigoration, though, because I recorded a couple days ago. Alright, so Frost is really good at freezing enemies. You'd think so, with his abilities to be called literally Avalanche. So you cast Frost Fourth ability, enemies are frozen solid. They can take increased critical damage and critical chance with the Biting Frost augment mod. You can crush enemies extremely easily, and yeah, it's just really good. We get the power of fire and ice on our side, and that's without a proper Bane mod. Those guys, I have Bane the Corrupted on my build, and those guys were Grineer, so we're definitely, dealing some extreme overkill damage. With this amount of damage, you can one-shot level 10,000 enemies if you use the things we show in this video today. Now, as far as what we're doing for this Frost build, is meant for extremely high-level Steel Path, we are going to be utilizing lots of things together. It's not as complicated as it sounds after we go over everything, but yeah, just explaining it all might make it sound a lot more intimidating than it actually is. So starting off with the Frost build, it's going to be the Ice Lord Frost, so the abilities we're using here are mainly going to be the Nourish Helmet ability from Grendel and the fourth ability, Avalanche from Frost. You don't really need to worry about your Ice Globe, your Snow Globe, or your Freeze. You can still use them, like there's knockback damage for Snow Globe, and there's you can destroy the Snow Globe with Freeze. That's the main things that you use those for. But yeah, here we've got Archon Stretch to make it where our Diriga is shocking enemies and giving us built-in energy regen. That built-in energy regeneration stacks nicely with Nourish, giving us a lot more energy regen per second. Archon Float, you don't need this. If you have Prime Float, it's totally fine. But yeah, if you get a cold ability damage kill, which rarely happens because these are mainly utility abilities here, you will drop an energy orb at a 10% chance. If you're, technically if you kill like a level 20 Butcher or something like that, it will work. But the enemies we're fighting, it's not going to actually work. But hey, we got the mod capacity for it, might as well put it on there. Prime Continuity. Really, there's no reason to put on Archon Continuity because there's no toxin damage here. But you could, just because it is golden. But yeah, Prime Continuity for more duration, very nice for Nourish, and also the freeze duration on Avalanche does scale with duration too. The big augment mods here, we got Icy Avalanche, giving so the fourth ability will give Overguard to yourself and nearby allies. Only 60 Overguard per enemy hit, so it's not a ton of Overguard. Like, we're not talking Dante Overguard numbers here, or like Styanax for that matter. But it's still, you get a massive armor strip on there and a freeze too, so it's not just providing Overguard. But with this augment, it does help a lot. We also got Biting Frost. Frost gains increased critical chance and critical damage against frozen enemies. So in the Jade Shadows update, cold procs in general will be freezing enemies, not just his 4. So this will be a big buff to Frost, and I just wish it was actually his normal passive, because his normal passive is pretty bad. Striking Frost with a melee attack has a 10% chance to freeze the enemy for 20 seconds. Yeah. So if this is going to just be his passive, we can have extra mod slot, that'd be great, but that's not how it is. So just put that mod on there for big damage. Rolling Guard, in case your Overguard and your Shield Gate is broken, you can go invincible and get those things back, basically. Umbral Intensify, it's going to be one of the best Intensify mods for Frost, because it affects his fourth ability and it will affect Nourish. So that's really nice. We have an Umbra form on Frost for that. And Overextended to make our ice range massive. Our avalanche radius is 35 meters, so it's a big, basically half the room in some of these big rooms. It gets completely frozen with this. Our Arcanes are Arcane Precision to buff our Furis Incarnon to make it so it destroys level 10,000s really fast. And Molt Augmented to give us enough power strength to be full armor removal with Frost 4. It doesn't require that much power strength, but with this low power strength, we need a little bit of a buff to get to that. Alright, and also Prime Sure-Footed because it's good. Technically wouldn't need it if you have Overguard all the time, but the Overguard of Frost, as I stated, is a little bit weaker compared to like Dante, for example. Like on Dante, you don't need to run Prime Sure-Footed. On Frost, you probably should. Our Archon Shards, our casting speed, because we're using our 4 so much, and the 4th ability has a really long casting time. So 2 Tau casting speed shards to spam your 4. 2 ability strength Tau shards to get enough power strength to fully armor strip with his 4, which you do. I think you could technically, math-wise, get away with normal shards, but hey, we have so many Tau shards nowadays. You might as well go for the Tau shards for the buff to nourish as well. And the secret sauce is going to be the new Violet Tau shard. This will make it where health orbs give you energy, and energy orbs give you health, in addition to what they currently already do. So this will allow you to sustain your 4 very easily with the Diriga Sentinel shocking enemies and dropping orbs. Alright, so we went over the Frost build. Now, I did say Diriga is going to be helping us out. We got the Synth Deconstruct mod on Diriga. Enemies injured by the companion have a 25% chance to drop a health orb when killed. Also, make sure you auto-reload stuff. So that's why it says no Aki Core. Do not have any Synth mods equipped. You have the Aki Core equipped, or you will lose your tentacles. But we're not using the Aki Core here, so that's no big deal. As far as the other mods, Mystic Bond to give some more energy economy stuff. Restorative Bond, because there's so many orbs dropping. If the companion does go down, this will help us revive it really fast. Momentous Bond, we can kill Eximus so quickly with this build that this is like a near instant revive. Manifold Bond, as it will put lots of procs enemies with our combination of items we're using today. And Tenacious Bond, giving us increased critical damage even more on our frame. Arc Coil to zap nearby enemies. Guardian to regen your shield. Prime Regen to revive this thing faster, and Vacuum to pick up that loot, which you need. Alright, and as far as the weapon, this is going to be one of the best weapon choices here, is going to be the Prime Laser Rifle. You might notice we have Shivering Contagion. This is a must-use mod when you're playing as Frost. Put it on your Sentinel Companion, and it will make it where enemies affected by cold have a chance to spread it to other nearby enemies, making it where you're going to get that full cold stack really easily. Once those buffs come through for cold procs, this might end up getting nerfed, because it's so good on Frost. Okay, the idea here is unfortunately, you actually need a Riven to do this. You must have a critical chance Riven to get yourself over 50% critical chance on the Prime Laser Rifle. So if you have that, you can also put on Arrow Periphery. This is what we're using to get melee crescendo stacked up for big critical damage on our Furis, and also infinite 12x on our Sibear for that matter. Damaging enemies while aim gliding, and we'll put them to sleep for 5 seconds for 3 seconds upon, for up to 5 enemies for 3 seconds upon landing. This allows you to do finishers on them, which lets us use melee crescendo very easily. The rest of this stuff just to make it we have lots of procs of the enemies from the Diriga shock. Okay, so the Sibear Incarnon is if you're a Frost main, I'd recommend getting this thing because it's pretty nice with Frost. Some of the Incarnons increased combo on targets affected by cold, so if you cast your 4, hit them with the Sibear, you're going to get a ton of combo off of them. Additionally, it's just got really good elemental damage in general. We got a corrosive cold build here, and the Incarnon form creates a cold blast with heavy slam. The wiki says it's guaranteed cold. I don't know if I agree with that, because there's been times it has not been a guaranteed cold proc. But as far as what you're doing here, and yes, we can actually, for some reason, we can actually get finisher kills even with a minus 120% finisher Riven. Whatever, okay, doesn't matter with me. But yeah, the idea of this is just to be big damage at high levels. And the corrosive is just good to take out an enemy that might not have all their armor stripped yet. It can still kill stuff at level 10,000 without armor strip, but I'd still recommend it. And a reminder, we have Nourish, so it'll be viral, corrosive, and cold, and IPS. So very nice there. We have melee crescendo, on finisher kill, gain initial combo for the rest of the mission. Very nice what we're doing right here. To have infinite 12x. So if we stack this up like 30 finishers, then we switch to our Furis. This is the normal Furis. I had to re-record the video and check. It is a normal Furis. There is no Furis Prime, unfortunately. Secondary Outburst. On swap into secondary weapon. Consume all melee combo and increase critical chance and critical damage per combo multiplier consumed. So it's like 240% critical chance and critical damage when you consume those. If you don't have a Riven, I'd recommend getting one because the Rivens aren't too expensive on this thing. But you could maybe put on like Hornet Strike, or you could put on like... I'd probably recommend Hornet Strike in that slot because like my Riven is damage, multi-shot, crit chance plus recoil. That's pretty much what I recommend. Just put like a base damage mod there, I suppose. Yeah, but the build is just to be purely heat. And reminder, we have Nourish, so it will be viral and heat once we combine those together. Let's get some gameplay footage on the screen so we can talk about this. Also, I'm on the Madurai focus tree. Okay, so as far as what this build is meant to do, it's meant to take out really high-level enemies with a combination of armor strip and big critical damage. You can use the Sibear to crush enemies. You can use the Furis to burn them from afar. And it's just really, really powerful. So that's a level, I think it's a level like 1500 Eximus right there. Yes, you can go to level 10,000, but yeah, you know, not everybody does go to level 10,000 to be fair. So the biggest thing you should be focusing on your gameplay here is always be making sure you have overguard. Look at your top right corner of your screen. If it's not overguarded, you might need to cast your fourth one to get some overguard. Not like it's that dangerous, because you'll have the shields as well from brief respite, so you have shield gating and overguard gating whenever you cast your 4 with this ability, or with this build, as long as you have an enemy nearby to get overguard from. And of course, for non-Eximus enemies, you will freeze them solid, and if it's an Eximus enemy, they'll take 4 cold procs. So it does slow them down quite a bit, and does make them take increased critical damage too, I believe. So really powerful stuff there. Now, as far as, you know, what should you be doing as Frost, I'd recommend if you are in Cascade, I'd recommend you go on the defense team. But if you don't want to, you can still go for the attack team quite easily. Just the big thing here is making sure that you get your melee crescendo stacks. So basically, at the beginning of the mission, unfortunately, we deal so much damage, it can be kind of hard to get finishers on these guys. But at the beginning of the mission, you know, jump in the air, fire 1 bullet, land, do a finisher. Do that 30 times, and you'll be in the red crit zone, basically. So yeah, I'd highly recommend this one. It's getting buffed in the Jade Shadows update, like I said. I'm hoping those changes do go through. Shivering Contagion might end up not being as OP, because like it is really, really going to be good. Like it already is pretty good right now when you have grouped up enemies, but it might just be more of a simulacrum kind of thing. So yeah, I quite enjoy this build. It's very easy to play, because as long as you have enemies nearby, and Diriga shocks them, you can kill them very easily with your Sibear and your Furis, your normal Furis. And yeah, that's just, you know, like, as you look right there, we got energy back from killing the enemy. We got, you know, we can just constantly spam our 4, basically. Nourish might not look like it's active, because when you have multiple teammates with Nourish on your team, only one of them will show up on the UI. And that can be kind of annoying, but that's just how it is. And yeah, it's meant for high-level missions. So hope you guys found this video fun and helpful. Yeah, the build's really strong. Like, of course, you don't have to use the exact weapons I have. Like, you can use the dual Toxicist if you want to. You can use, like, whatever. I mean, I just think the Sibear works because it's a giant piece of ice on a stick. And the Furis works because it's really, really strong. And you combine it with these infinite 12Xs, and you're really crashing through these enemies. So don't want to drag it out for too much longer, guys. Just hope that you found the video fun and helpful. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comments about the build. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.